Alright, what's going on, boys and girls? We're here with another reaction video. This one is going to be on why Linux is better than Windows 10 and why you should switch to Linux. Only have a title. No idea. Could be a hit or miss. Every video I usually do for these is usually Linux is terrible, and here's why. I'm curious to see whether or not this person actually has some good reasons. And excuse my sniffing, down with allergies and stuff at the moment, so yeah, so let's roll into it.
So right here I have Ubuntu, which is a Linux booted on a real world laptop. I mean, this is the kind of laptop most people use. I mean, it's got a Intel Core i5 6200U processor. It's like one of the newest Intel processors. I mean, it's fast. You know, it's a good laptop. It's got a, you know, it's obviously a quad core. I mean, that's what Intel's main agenda with, like, you know, their processors is like, oh, we gotta push out these quad core processors. But as you can tell, I am not booted into Windows 10, and that is
Okay, so you spent the first 41 seconds talking about Intel products. That's kind of counterproductive there, Buckshot. I'm just gonna say, you know, get to the fucking point, just to be blunt. So, just some advice.
for a good reason. I mean, Windows 10 spies on you. Windows 10, yeah, they submit all your all your data to the NSA or whatever. They other than the fact that it spies on you, I mean, it takes up your it just eats up resources while you're.
As far as Windows 10 spying on you, yes, Windows 10 is a privacy nightmare, and if you're privacy conscious, I would not recommend using Microsoft at all. But then again, in the digital age we are in, privacy is a luxury that we have. You are going to pay for either in time or money. And that's just the reality of the world we live in. So you're gonna have to find and invest time, if you do it yourself, to be private online, or you're gonna have to invest money to have somebody else ensure that you have a private access online. It's all either or.
You're not even using like other applications. I mean, it has all these applications you're not even using, just running in the background. Like, you're not even using them, but it's just running random Windows applications in the background. So
It's not. I'll be fair to Microsoft on this one. It's what they call, I believe, it's super fetch, where it's essentially trying to predict the applications that you'll run, so it eats up more RAM, yada yada yada. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's good, but that's just pretty much what it is.
So that just eats up your resources, eats up your CPU, and then yeah, your performance isn't as good. I mean, it eats up your memory, eats up your CPU, and then what else? Windows 10. Oh yeah, Windows 10. You gotta love the Genius OS design. Then
just the battery comment that rolled up over that. Linux and battery life much? Just saying, you know, it all depends. Linux has a justifiably bad reputation with battery life, as it should. That's reality.
I mean, I'm not saying Ubuntu has the best. I'm not saying Ubuntu has the best OS design, but I mean, it's pretty decent, especially for the Windows 10. It's really similar to a Mac, and a Linux. You know, obviously.
As far as Windows design paradigm, rainbow color vomit on the start menu, and before that it was full screen rainbow colored vomit on my entire screen. So yeah,
Linux machine. But I mean, Windows 10 just does updates automatically. Also, like my desktop computer at home. Guess what? It just updates by itself. I tell it not to. It says, "Oh, do you want to restart now to do updates?" I check no, and then what do you know? It just I shut it off, and it just updates by itself. I mean,
B, the problem is, A, the problem is you're shutting it off. B, the problem is Windows attempts to use Cortana AI, which is dumb as a stack of bricks, to determine when the most effective use time for your PC is to apply updates. It doesn't work. I'm just saying that's the idea behind it. But yeah, you are right. Windows updates are fucking terrible.
Now I don't even have control over my own computer anymore, because yeah, Windows 10 is a service that you don't get to control. It just, you don't have control of your own computer. It just takes away all your rights. But on Linux, if I want to update, I can go into details, and I can go ahead and install updates. It'll check for updates usually, but yeah, and then I'll just press install now, and looky here, it's installing updates without just completely restarting and turning off. Hold on, let me enter my password. Updates. I'm just gonna keep talking to you guys about why Linux is better than Windows 10. Yeah, other than the fact that Windows 10 just has so many issues, Linux doesn't have all these issues, and it's an operating system for you, the user, and not what Microsoft is making you do. Because, well, let's be real here. Microsoft, with Windows 10, you don't have any control of your own computer. They just take away all your rights. But here, I can just have my own control. I can have control over my own computer. I have terminal here. There's some commands you just gotta memorize, but you'll get the hang of it. If you know anything about technology, you'll be good. And then guess what? Oh, look right here. I have a bunch of games.
Just a note, you don't have to use the command line. Generically speaking, command line, I'm just gonna be honest, usually scares the shit out of people. So, usually if something breaks, you just don't even really tell them, what the commands are and all that crap. That to me is just bad advice. I'm wrong. Some people will say, well, you need to know certain commands. How many people actually know commands in the Windows, command prompt? Very few. How many people know how to do a reg edit and all the other stuff? There's very few. So the simple fact of the matter is telling users that you have to use the command line, or saying that you need to know, is not the best advice. If something breaks, you go to support where you get it. It's really what it is.
On here, I have a bunch of games on here because guess what? Ubuntu supports all these programs. Here I have Discord, I have Steam. What else I have? I have Telegram. What else do I have? What else do I have? I have OBS. Shoot. Yeah, OBS is on Linux, and so except for like Office 365, it's really hard to get the newest versions, which might be a reason I might have to switch back to Windows 10 when school starts, because
SoftMaker Office or WPS Office recommendations. If not, go with Office 365. All depends. Only Office is also something that you can find in the Snap store, and some people love it, some people hate it. That all depends.
Well, I have no other choice because look, it's a modern day Lenovo Yoga computer, and they're like, oh, we got to make sure that your motherboard won't support Windows 7 because, don't use Windows 7. That's what Russian hackers use, and you shouldn't use Windows 7. That's what peasants use. You got to use Windows 10, but
No, it's planned obsolescence, and I'm quote unquote moving forward in technology. Though I would say, at times Windows 10 is probably a downgrade.
What I do, I just use Linux because Linux actually works. Ubuntu made decent Linux. I wouldn't be defending it if it wasn't good. I'm not the person to just fanboy something. I'm not a fanboy of anything. I mean, if it's bad, I'll admit it's bad. If it's good, I'll say it's good. And Ubuntu is just the thing that's good. I mean, if you want control over your own computer, if you want a good OS that's easy to use, I mean, you can even customize the layout. I know this isn't the most beautiful setup, but I mean, just Google, or actually I'll show you links to like what people can do. I mean, you can do so much with Linux, because I mean, there are some problems like Windows 10 might have more app support, or program support. Yes, see, my computer updates are done, because that's all it takes. Unlike on Windows, I would keep checking all these boxes saying, "Oh, update later," and guess what? It would probably still update, even when I'd turn it off, and it would just update for like 20 minutes. But yeah, switch to Linux and quit using Windows.
Okay. So, actually, not a bad video. I've seen worse. Some advice I would not give as far as, the command line, all that kind of stuff. I already kind of touched on that. The biggest thing I took away from this is, if you're going to record these type of videos, I know you're showing it on actual hardware, which is cool. It's not like a live USB environment or any of that kind of stuff. That's cool. But you could have done like a still shot and then overlaid it with recorded the actual desktop interaction with OBS. Just a recommendation the next time you do one of these videos. As far as Linux being better, it all depends on the user. Well, some of us value our privacy, value our control over our system and updates and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, computers are tools to be used, and if, I hate to say it, Windows is the tool that works best for you, use the tool that works best for you. Sometimes Linux is not an option for some people. That's just reality. It's not always a great reality, but it's reality nonetheless. So my take on this video is, there is some good reasons, privacy and that kind of stuff, to switch to Linux that you do give. A little less rambling on the topic would be great. A little more focus. I don't need a full minute almost of you talking about the Intel hardware or the machine. Get right to the meat and potatoes of it. Exactly why you should be switching to Linux, if that's what you're trying to do. Just my recommendation, but hey, I'm just a YouTuber. What the hell do I know? But you guys know what to do. Rate and subscribe, and, well, peace, I guess.